and Asia to become extinct. How did we allow the coral reefs to appear? Didn't we know what was going on? Didn't those who occupy the platforms, the religious platform, realize what was going on and speak out loudly about it? I shudder to think about what our grandchildren will say to us one day when they say to us, well, didn't you know? But of course, we do know. And I think this is a fundamental issue that should be addressed by the religious community. They are not at this point taking up the cudgels and looking at these issues. And I think we need to break through that barrier. We all know what goes on today. If you look recently at the meat recall here in Chino in California, where 143 million pounds of meat was called back from the school system and supermarkets purely because downed cows, these are cows that are too lame or ill to walk at slaughterhouses, were being brutalized, and therefore their meat was regarded as contaminated. And all this meat was pulled back. So it's not that we don't know what's going on anymore. We do. And I fail to see why we have not been able to break through this barrier of apathy. This is a question I would like to ask Supreme Master later on. Maybe she has some insight into that. It's not that we're dumb or we're not informed. We've been to the moon and back, and we've got little robotic explorers out there at the edge of the solar system. So we have the intelligence to make these moral choices and question these issues, and we're not doing it. So, with all due respect, on behalf of my co-producer of this film, Richard Schwartz, who is the president of Jewish Vegetarians of North America, I would like to use this platform today and issue a challenge to the religious community worldwide through the platform of Supreme Master Television to come together and to start thinking about these issues and to become a little more vociferous about them, a little more vocal. Bring it into the mainstream of religious thinking. Because if we're going to curb global warming and stop some of the horrors that are going on and making ourselves sick, we really need to bring it to the place where a lot of people go, and that is the pulpit. And so, with all due respect, I issue that challenge today. And I'd like to end with a question then to Supreme Master, and that is there any way that we can break through this apathy that is preventing people from taking up this issue and converting to a vegetarian diet when the facts are clear as a bell? We all have access to it now.
Yes. Hello, Mr. Freeberg. Thanks for the honor. I thank you, first of all, for being so concerned. And you are right. I think the religious people and leaders should speak up about this subject, should be taking more of the leading position to help the public understand the great problem that we're facing and the solution to curb the global warming. But it's not going to be that easy or overnight. But I think right now, maybe we can just offer them, the public, the vegetarian diet. Even if the religious leader doesn't help us to give a hand in this, we can go all out and spread the news through internet, through flyers, through media, through television, and through word of mouth. We can offer them all the information that is very up to date now about the climate change and the solution. And right now the only solution, the best, the fastest, and the most effective is the vegetarian diet. That is the major solution to global warming, as per scientific evidences even. I'm not even talking about the moral obligation and the karmic retribution from meat diet. But if we give enough information to the public at large, and if they care enough to forego animal food to save the world, then their heart will have been enlarged enough to be more compassionate toward other species. And then they will understand gradually, naturally also, due to their kind living standard, that to love others is to love themselves. It will be more automatic mental attitude after the majority or the whole planet population turn to vegetarian diet. Now, once we have saved the world, we will have more time to help them to understand in a deeper level about compassion towards animals. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Supreme Master Ching Hai and Mr. Freeberg for sharing with us. Dr. Katz, could you please share with us your thoughts on how compassionate living drives your own life purpose?
All right. If I could start off, I'd like to read 2 or 3 statements from people who've genius, sensitivity, have motivated me and whose footsteps I've tried to follow, and for my organization, that's the driving force for In Defense of Animals. The first one is a statement by St. Francis of Assisi. It's not to hurt our humble brethren is our first duty to them, but to stop there is not enough. We have a higher mission to be of service to them wherever they require it. The second one is by George Bernard Shaw. The worst sin towards our fellow creatures is not to hate them, but to be indifferent to them. That's the essence of inhumanity. This statement tends to get hidden from the public. There's been art shows around the genius of Leonardo da Vinci. His artwork is fantastic, thinking futuristically of things he's created. He stated, "The time will come when men such as I will look upon the murder of animals as they now look upon the murder of men." And the statement that brings it full circle is a statement by Albert Einstein, who makes it all seem so very relative. Our task must be to free ourselves by winding our circle of compassion to embrace all living creatures and the whole of nature in its beauty. And that's the statement that ties together now the concern for the well-being of the planet as well as the well-being of the species that inhabit it. Us, the human species, being part of a web of life. And the statement that I'll finish with is by Émile Zola. And he states, "The fate of animals is of greater importance to me than the fear of appearing ridiculous." And that's the reason I'm here today. Take that chance. Several years ago, our organization, this is our 25th year for In Defense of Animals since I founded it. My background is as a veterinarian, so I've ministered and cared for and done everything to save lives of animals all my adult life. And the organization has been successful, very successful. We've got some groundbreaking victories. But several years ago, I realized that I was only spinning my wheels or doing Band-Aid cures that to stop cruelty and so forth, that unless the paradigm changed, the way we perceive as a species, other species, that it's time that we stop seeing them as resources, seeing them as just commodities, objects, property of things. And